Hey guys, it's James, and I want to talk to you about moving forward. Two different ways. Moving forward past your mistakes and moving forward with what's in your hand. In regards to moving past your mistakes, every single one of us has made a mistake. And what do you do when you've made a mistake and you have to move past it? Funnily enough, I was thinking about Jonah, and I thought, Jonah just made it clean, just disobeyed God, ran away, been on this boat, chopped over the boat. You know, he's now in the belly of a whale. The whale vomits him out. God's like, okay, this is what I need you to do. I wonder if Jonah has a moment. The scripture doesn't tell us this. I wonder if Jonah is thinking to himself, how can I go and say, this is what God is saying? And I've just been running from him. What I've done and the mistakes that I've made and the way I've lived my life doesn't match up with what I'm speaking now and with what I'm trying to say now. For a minute ago, I wasn't living what I'm about to speak on. We know about King David and his many conquests. And the Bible still describes him as a man after God's own heart. So for me, that tells me that irrespective of the mistakes that I make, irrespective of my poor choices, irrespective of the times that I hear God and disobey and run away, I can still be someone like David, who's a man after God's own heart. So as this pertains to refocusing, one thing that came to me when I was kind of hearing from God about this theme was how mistakes can cause us to lose motivation. What you've experienced and what you've seen does not discredit you. I often think that a lot of our mistakes equip us. Was it in God's will for some of these mistakes? No. But God is a professional at taking our mistakes and taking our missteps and turning it into something amazing and still using it for his glory and still bringing us to the place that we were supposed to be at had we not made those poor decisions. God is gracious like that. I'm reminded again of David, who when they had come back to their town after fighting battles, find out they've been raided and they've taken the wife and children away. And the men, David's men, now turn on him bitter, ready to stone the brother. And it says David encouraged himself in the Lord. And then after that, he was like, all right, cool, let's go. And that's exactly what we have to be like. Have your moment. Be upset. You made a mistake. That's okay. Cry about it if you have to cry about it. But after that, wipe your tears, get up and go. Because what the enemy would have for you to do is to stay sat there crying and upset over the past, over what has happened. And to be so caught up in the past and your mistakes and your poor choices and your poor decisions, it invalidates the blood. It invalidates the cross, because your poor decisions and your mistakes and your poor choices is what Jesus came to die for. The mess that you got yourself into. He tore the veil in the temple, died. He died so that the veil in the temple would be torn, so that you could have direct access to the Father for grace and for forgiveness, so that you can move forward. Second thing, moving forward with what's in your hand. I was in a taxi somewhere and God just started speaking to me. I wasn't going to make this video. I actually had somebody else that was going to do it. And then funny enough, that person couldn't do it. And God just said this to me. I'm just going to read it for you. You've looked at what you have and what's around you. You've looked and pined after what has been stolen from you, what you've lost. But God says he will supply. He will restore what the locust has eaten up. And what God gives, no man can take away, no demon can take away. He will supply, he will provide. He will make rivers in the desert. He will supply. But keep your focus on what he's called you to. Keep your mind on the vision and the dream he gave you. Provision is coming to your door. We look at the story of David and Goliath. Man tried to put on this big armor. Couldn't fit, wasn't working. And the whole time, what he had to defeat Goliath was always in his hand. And so there are many times it's, oh, but I need this and I don't have this and I lost this and this has been taken from me. But if God says that the vision is for now and your time is now, don't look at what you don't have, because what you have is enough. And even if what you have is not enough, provision is coming to your door. Shake yourself. Sometimes you gotta have a moment, have your moment. Cry, scream, shout, let it all out. Refocus yourself on who God's called you to be and what God has called you to do. We're halfway through the year, so that time is gone. However, the same time that is gone is the same amount of time that is now left. And so 2020 doesn't have to be a write-off. Refocus. Get back in God's presence. Learn to hear his voice again. God's presence isn't on lockdown. Get in his presence. Hear from him. This whole presence vision started because I said to God, what do you want from me in the next 365 days? I didn't know a couple of years later we'd still be here. But all of that came from me saying, God, what is it you want from me? And spending time to focus in his presence and to hear what's in and blocking out other distractions. That's the other thing about refocus. Refocusing means blocking out other distractions. Refocusing is making a choice. Refocusing is making a decision. When you focus on the task, you make a conscious and intentional decision that this is what I'm doing right now. Shift your focus from where it is and place it in a new direction. And so I encourage you today, refocus.